The Dragonborn had heard rumblings of the people in Dawnstar not quite being able to sleep.
I'm just one of the
The
miners.
local
I don't want
priest,
any trouble.
Erendur, might know something about it.
Yes,
What's wrong with everyone around here?
the entire town is being plagued by horrible nightmares. They're in serious danger, but I'm afraid there's little I can do about it.
It was young and handsome.
What could you do anyway? Dreams aren't real.
These dreams are manifestations created by the Daedric Lord Vermaena. She has an awful hunger for our memories. In return, she leaves behind nightmares. Not unlike a cough marks a serious illness. I must end her terrible influence over these people before the damage becomes permanent.
What is your plan?
I need to return to the source of the problem, to Nightcaller Temple. Perhaps you'd be willing to assist me in that regard.
What do you mean, return? You've been there?
I've already said too much. If anyone overhears what we're saying, it could start a panic. I would simply ask that you trust me and help me end Dawnstar's nightmares.
I trust you. How can I help?
Wonderful. My Lady Mara will be quite pleased. Nightcaller Temple is only a short walk from Dawnstar. Come, we must hurry.
Who is the Daedric Lord Vermaena?
Vermaena resides in a strange realm known as Quagmire, a nightmarish land where reality shifts upon itself in seemingly impossible ways. From her citadel at the center, she reaches forth to collect our memories, leaving nothing in return apart from visions of horror and despair.
What does she do with the memories?
Who can say? Perhaps she collects them for display like works of art in a nonsensical art gallery. Whatever the case may be, her intentions are far from benevolent.
Oh, got a bit of interest in your boss, do you? No.
I promise to answer all of your questions. Follow me.
Pix and Pooks knew there was more to Erendur than he was letting on, particularly the fact that he was a vampire, or at least seemed to be, judging by his eyes. It could just be a Dunmer thing, but Pix and Pooks always remembered Dunmer to have black eyes, as opposed to glowing vampiric red.
Follow me. It's this way.
He and Erendur walked on in silence. It was a very cold,
It's good to finally have a chance to help these people.
very dense
Helplessly watching them suffer has been difficult.
night. Pix and Pooks rather hoped that Erendur would move at a slightly faster pace
Tower
than
on that
this.
hill is our destination. People around here call it the Tower of the Dawn. I'm not familiar with the tower's history, but it was deserted for quite a long time before Nightcaller Temple was established inside. When the temple was active, the priests would rarely be seen in Dawnstar. They preferred to live a solitary existence. The temple's been abandoned for decades now. Ironic, isn't it? A ruin within a ruin. There's a small shrine to Mara I established inside the tower's entry hall. I was hoping to seek spiritual guidance from her.
The tower, at this walking pace, felt like 1,000,000 miles away. You could hardly even see the tower he was referring to in the dense snowstorm. He could just about make it out in the distance, a grey, hazy shape. I wonder how anybody in these sorts of computer games manage to get anything done when they walk so slowly. And I say computer games, I'm not entirely sure who wrote this book or what they were smoking while they were writing it, but There you go. That's in the pages I am reading to you right now. The more they walked, the further they seemed to get from the tower. Of all the Daedric adventures Pix and Pooks had found himself on in his illustrious life, this had to be the one with the dullest start. It was far easier to appreciate just how cold Skyrim was when one was traipsing through it so slowly. At high speed upon Shadowmere's back, he was quickly numbed by the bracing wind. On his own 2 feet, the heat of exercise kept him warm from within. Finally, it looked as though they were closing in on the tower. This event marked by many trolls, it would seem. Erendur's fire magic was weak, that was plain to see. Fortunately, Pix and Pooks could handle far more than 3 trolls if he needed to. And so they fell.
I hope you're not expecting a thank you.
Erendur was clearly not the nicest of people. But that was fine. This was a matter of Daedric importance they were dealing with. Niceties were not necessary.
Before we enter, I must warn you about the dangers that could be lurking within. Years ago, this temple was raided by an orc war party seeking revenge. They were being plagued by nightmares, just like the people of Dawnstar.
Were they successful?
No. Knowing they could never defeat the orcs, the priests of Vermaena released what they called the miasma, putting everyone to sleep.
Why is it dangerous if they are asleep?
I'm concerned that when this place is unsealed, the miasma will dissipate and they'll awaken. Both orcs and priests alike.
What does the miasma do?
The miasma was created by the priests of Vermaena for their rituals. It's a gas that places the affected in a deep sleep. Because the rituals would last for months or even years, the miasma was designed to slow down the aging process.
Is the gas dangerous?
Sadly, yes. The longer an individual is exposed to the miasma, the more the mind can become damaged. Those who've been under the effect of it for extended periods of time have been known to lose their minds entirely. In some cases, a few never awoke at all. Once we get inside, all will become clear.
Pix and Pooks was ready for a fight, should the need for one arise. He stepped through the old, frost-bitten door into Nightcaller Temple. The grisly shrine to what he could only assume was Vermaena met him. Some sort of strange noise.
Give me just a moment, and I'll have this open.
Pix and Pooks gave Erendur just a moment. And he had it open.
Now I can show you the source of the nightmares. Over here.
A strange, unnatural mist coated the place. could it be the miasma gas itself?
Behold the skull of corruption, the source of Dawnstar's woes. We must reach the inner sanctum and destroy it. Come, there's no time to lose.
Pixenpooks wasn't quite sure what he was supposed to be looking at because there was rather a lot of groovy stuff going on downstairs. The mist was strange, hovering just a few feet above the ground no matter... Oh dear. The orcs began to awake, but they were nothing to Pixenpooks. He relied on Erender.
The priest must have activated this barrier when the miasma was released.
Looks difficult to breach.
Impossible, actually. I wonder. There may be a way to bypass the barrier, but I must check their library and confirm it can be done.
You seem to know an awful lot about this place.
I suppose there's no point in concealing the truth any longer. My knowledge of this temple comes from personal experience. I was a priest of Vermaena.
Why keep it a secret?
When the orcs invaded the temple, I fled. I left my brothers and sisters here to die. I've spent the last few decades living in regret and seeking redemption from Mara. And by her benevolence, I will right my wrongs.
Alright, I'm ready.
I still have my key to the library. Whenever you're ready, let's move on.
How can the skull be affecting Dawnstar?
Lore holds that the skull of corruption holds a constant hunger for the memories of others. The skull has been out of touch for so long, I fear it's gained the ability to reach out on its own and try to feed. What it does with these memories is just conjecture, and an argument for scholars and historians to this very day. We mustn't tarry. The skull needs to be destroyed as soon as possible.
Yet despite his urgent words, Erender crept with almost painful slowness towards the library. Pixenpooks decided to amuse himself, grabbing moss off the ceilings.
It's just up here.
He was the Dragonborn. He could do what he wanted.
Be careful. We're certain to find more of the awakened within.
His warhammer was ready. Decided to get a head start.
Damn! Give up while you still can! What happened? Wait, he's still under attack!
It would appear that even the Vermaena devotees were subject to the slaughter here.
Time to end this little...
They had rather nifty robes, it had to be said. An orc moonwalking his way into battle.
Dare you defile this temple, or...
With a cracked skull, he was no more. Pixenpooks threw a book because he was wild that way.
This library used to be filled with arcane volumes. Now look at it. Almost everything's been burned. I hope the tome we need is still intact.
So, it had to be said, did Pixenpooks. Another one waking. A crack! And the devotee was down.
Barring any more interruptions, perhaps we can locate the information I need.
What am I